Sorrows.
Yeah, many sorrows. Hello and welcome to Sprints for the Mid-Year Reading Scramble. This is our first sprint / check-in for everybody who is here. We are going to be doing these once a week. There will be other sprints. I've got a couple of hosts that have talked about like, hey, I would also like to do some sprints. And I will be letting everyone know when those sprints are going to happen as I get those, as people figure out their schedules. But for this channel, we're going to be doing today, we're going to be doing July 12th at 10 a.m. for some of my people who would be awake around that time. And then we're going to do July 19th at 3 p.m. And then July 25th at noon. I'm trying to hit as many different time zones as possible, give everyone a chance to get that bookish hangout checked off if they are wanting to do that. So anyways, I am joined by these lovely hosts. We have one more that is going to be joining us in a little bit, but let's start out with you guys. Let me know, how are y'all this evening? What are we reading tonight?
Hi, I'm Paco. I've been on the channel before from Bad Witch Books. I am going to be reading A Forgery and Fate by Elizabeth Lim. I'm about halfway through. I want to get a lot of the way done and then switch over to the Just Hot Air. So.
Ooh, I want to read that. That sounds like a very... That one, I feel like that one has been really in the zeitgeist lately, the bookish zeitgeist.
I said the Just Hot Air, and I realized it's the Orlander Sword. It's the Poppy War. Poppy War. Jasmine Thorn. Getting my flowers mixed up. Jasmine Thorn.
No, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I swear, I actually am so smart up here.
Right. I was like, wait.
Come out.
Books just now.
I know what it's called. I just said the wrong thing.
Yeah. Because I was watching my friend's video and she was talking about the Hot Air, so that was on my mind. But anyway.
This, by the way, is why I don't do a lot of debating people, especially family, about politics, because all of the information is up here. But if I am getting heated with someone, I cannot access it.
No.
So I just cut people off instead. Anyways, Julie, what are you working on today?
I am going to be reading Dinosaur Sanctuary 2.
Ooh.
That's such a good manga.
I read volume 1 earlier today and I loved it, so I'm very excited to read volume 2. And then I'll go back to what I'm like supposed to be reading for my TBR, because this is all my library had. So I don't have volume 3 yet, but I'll get there. Oh,
I went and freaking bought 3 because my library had 1, 2, and 4. So somebody somewhere did not return something.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the fact that there's only I think 5 volumes out so far?
I think there's 7. I just went on Barnes and Noble to look because I was like, well, now I need to get volume 3 because
there is 7. Oh, that's such good news. I love this manga.
It's so cute. So yes, I'm having a good time.
It is. If anybody's wondering, it's Jurassic Park, but cozy, and no one gets eaten.
If you smash together Jurassic Park and Fruits Baskets, you would have this.
Okay.
I feel like that's accurate. That feels very accurate to me.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome, Kara.
Hello.
We are going around letting people know, so we'll get to you once we've gone around the little. I guess it's There's a trapezoid.
Trapezoid?
Trapezoid. I'm like, not really a circle. At this point, it's like something else. It's like a table. But Jess, what are we working on?
I am gonna read some more of Backhanded Compliments.
Ooh.
I'm annotating it. I'm not very far in. It's one of my best friend's books, so I'm terrified.
Oh no.
You know what I mean when you read a friend's book and you're like, well, what if I don't like it? Especially because I don't really like sports romances.
Yeah.
But I love my friend, so.
I feel like, because I've had the pleasure of seeing Friends get published once or twice. I will say my level of love for the book quite often is a little bit heightened by the fact that I love the person who wrote it.
Oh yeah. I have like a whole section behind me of like my friends' books, and I haven't read any book by a friend that I haven't enjoyed yet. But I always have that fear that one day
you
it
will.
has to happen eventually, right? Like statistically,
Yeah.
it has to happen eventually.
Yep. Very nice. Yeah, welcome. We have 2 Californians on this now. We have 3 East Coasters and 2 West Coasters.
West Coast.
Yes, it's usually just me.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the West Coast stream. I specifically knew there was going to be a 7 p.m. I knew there was going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern time and a 3 p.m. Eastern time show, sprint session, because of people that I was like, I know certain people and I know this is when. So, welcome, Kara. What are you working on today? What are we reading or any of that?
Yeah, so I have a couple options depending on what my computer can handle. Theoretically, I would like to make some progress on my audiobook, which is Dragon Fruit, I think is the name, by Makia Lucier.
Yeah.
Very buzzed about right now, and I've been really enjoying things by the author, and this is a buddy read I have right now with Huck. So yeah, I'd like to do that, but I have been listening to that while I do like other stuff on my computer. So I don't know if my computer can handle that while I'm also on a video call. So if it cannot, my backup plan is I'm going to be reading The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke, which I read so long ago. Like I read this as probably like a preteen, maybe even younger. And I remember liking most of it and then being really mad about the ending.
Yes.
And looking back, I think maybe adult Kara would actually like the ending. So I am doing a little experiment on myself.
So I read this and I was okay with it for a hot minute. I don't know how much you've been following with life-wise, Kara, but like I think I was working with DCF in Florida the last time you were in. So I used to work with quite often kids that were and parents who were separated by the state. And I'm like reading that book, and so much of it I'm going, I thought this was in the 1950s at first, which made sense. And then I'm going, the biggest fantasy part of this entire novel is that there were no adults that stepped in for any of this.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate the ending, but I had a lot of big feelings about that book.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting concept. It's like almost like not quite a Peter Pan retelling, but something like.
Yeah, well, and like the whole like criminal mastermind who's a kid thing, like Artemis Fowl remains one of my favorite series and is one of my formative book series. Mm-hmm. So I think it was natural that I would like pick that up. So I'm very curious to see if I like the ending more now.
We'll see. I kind of like how they handled that whole child genius thing in the novel. I do think that was one of the things that it handled really well. Because it felt like not realistic, but it felt very truthful to what actually usually is going on.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I probably will appreciate more is like that subversion of expectations and like how weirdly realistic some of it might be. Like that's what I think adult me will like, whereas kid me was like, how dare you waste my time like this.
And both of you will want to punch their aunt. That's
for sure.
I'm sure that stays the same. Okay, what am I working on? I am currently, I don't know how much more of this I'm going to read today, but I'm currently working on The Hobbit. This is one of my audiobooks. I am more than 105 pages in because I haven't updated where I am. I'm rereading this. I love this series so much. And then I'm also going to try and get to Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones because this is his newest novel. I have been 30 pages in for like 2 weeks. We need to fix that. So that's going to be part of what I am working on. And let's see who we have in our chat today. Hello to Neil. How are you today? Hi, Anne. Hey, Michaela. Going to read tonight. Do you need help deciding? Oh, never mind. Already knew. Okay, Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green or Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman.
It's weird to say that I'm excited for that John Green book, but like I am. Like I pre-ordered it and I love his nonfiction. So
yeah. Well, somebody gave it like a bad review on TikTok that I watched, and I just remember listening to them and like them being mad about like a certain way that he like approached the subject matter. I was just like, but that's the entire premise of the book.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a deep. Okay.
The point.
Yeah.
like I didn't even I can't even remember what it was they said because I was just like, I'm just gonna scroll past because you clearly like it felt like it was one of those things like it felt like such a bad faith reading.
Yes.
Knowing the work that John Green has done.
Yeah, like I don't know how somebody could even be aware of like his online presence over the last few years and like not know that this is something that he's really passionate about and he's really like knowledgeable about. Like he's not just like riffing.
I feel like it was that like something specific wasn't covered in the depth that they wanted it to be covered, and I was just like,
book.
It's supposed to be like it's supposed to get people interested. This is not supposed to be a deep scientific manual. Like he is making connections and linking things. Michaela, I am torn.
It's so bad you just have to delete it from your brain. So
Yep. And I do a lot of that with TikTok. I just scroll past. I am torn because I do love me some John Green, but if it were me and I were deciding, I would be picking up Dungeon Crawler Carl because of the two, that is the one that I want to read most.
Same.
Dungeon Crawler Carl is fantastic.
It sounds.
I need to, as a self-proclaimed D&D girly, I need to read this.
I think that it is 100% a Margaret book.
Yeah.
Personally, I say I loved it, but like I gave it 4 stars. But that's just because it's very stats heavy as far as like because it's a game. So like a lot of times like they'll go through like all of the stats and everything, and so it just kind of feels a little boggy to me. But like that's not my thing. Whereas it's a very Margaret thing. So it's fantastic. I laughed, I cried, I had a great time. I've read the first.
I love you say that when part of the reason I watch Critical Role is so I can tune out when they're covering all of the stats and stuff.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, we're talking about logistics and rules? Yep, okay, cool. Oh, story time. Okay.
It's done an interesting way. It's done a very interesting way, and I like it very much. But
that should be interesting. Hey, Ro, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, dinosaurs. Everyone agrees dinosaurs.
I just saw yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
The Jurassic Park movie. No, the day before yesterday. I saw the new Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them since the first Jurassic World came out. I need to see the 2 new ones.
I haven't seen any since the one that came out in the 90s. So
my brother's a big dinosaur nerd, so we like have to go see the new one right away.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I was not allowed to watch them because they would instill a spirit of fear.
I thought you were going to say because dinosaurs weren't real. They're not in the Bible.
Oh, Jess. Someday when you have time and you want to see a train wreck, go look up Katie Frates. That's Katie with a C, Frates. She is a creationist scientist, very much about dinosaurs. And that was what we were raised on.
Wow.
I
feel like
I went to school with kids who didn't believe that dinosaurs were real, and they had to be excused from science classes on because it would hurt their fragile little minds to believe in dinosaurs. So.
The bones exist. The bones exist. How do they explain that we have T-Rex skulls?
They were made out of molds fabricated for scientists to disprove God.
Did they also think the Earth was flat and the moon landing was faked?
Moon landing, yes. I don't think they believed the Earth was flat.
They're like, that's a little over the line.
I do believe they believe that the Earth is round, but the moon landing, that's 100% fake.
Yeah, Katie Frates was pretty famous in the homeschool circles where I lived as a creationist scientist. She actually, I remember feeling so cool because she was my biology teacher. And she was a really, with the exception of what she taught on evolution, she was actually a really good teacher. Just like she made it really fun and exciting. I still remember her description of solid versus liquid versus gas because she did, like, she just was so animated during that. But
She like
yeah,
Bill Nye.
she I don't even know where she stayed. Like, she's probably on some RFK Jr. shit by now, probably.
Oh,
I don't know. She might not be. I don't remember where she stood on some of the more controversial, like, health takes that my family participated in. But I highly suspect that she is over there. But yeah, she feels like a fever dream because almost no one knows who she is.
A collective hallucination of homeschoolers.
Yeah. A collective hallucination of me and my brother and that one VHS tape that we watched on a regular, again, because she was really entertaining on a regular basis. Okay. We have everything for tuberculosis, another vote for that. So it's what? Me with Dungeon Crawler Carl, Kara with John Green, Jess with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Tennille says, I started Trust of the Emerald Sea. I'm at 14% so far. It should be something I like, but I'm feeling mad about it. It could be because we're on a boat. Journey books and boat books usually aren't for me.
Me too.
I want to read.
Tennille, ask yourself, was the book bad or is it just shingles? That's the new hierarchy, because I did not like Tress at all, and it should 100% be a book that I like, but I read it when I had shingles. So now everything is, was it actually a bad book, or did I just have shingles?
I feel like you can make content out of that, Jess.
Like, that is the most specific litmus test, and
Yeah.
I would be intrigued. Like,
Yes.
There's like a whole section of books I need to reread because I read them when I was like on a deadline for our Battle of the Booktubers and had shingles. So
yeah, that would mess it up. Like,
plus Battle of the, like, deadline plus sickness. I don't feel like that's an ideal reading situation.
Yeah.
no.
Especially painful sickness.
Yeah.
In delirium and pain and on drugs. So
Yeah, especially when it's a Brandon Sanderson book, because I feel like
Oh,
his
yeah.
books benefit from you being able to like go back and look stuff back up and like kind of reread
I don't
stuff.
think I'd be reading anything in that position. So
Mhm.
I
yeah.
mean,
when you agree to a year-long project,
No, I feel that's true. I am.
and I'm
I
like,
am
I'm not
conscious.
actually dying. I just feel like it.
I'm just
Yeah.
close to death.
As long as I'm conscious, I have no excuse. Like,
I
It'll be fine.
wish I was a I'm stressed so I'm going to read person, or I'm going to write person. I am an I'm stressed so now my brain doesn't work person, and I hate it.
Same.
It's
I
a
been, like, reading has always been like the stress management technique for me, but like these last few months / most of the last year, it like hasn't been working, and it has thrown me. I'm like, what do you mean my biggest coping mechanism isn't working? Like, so
I've found that it works better when I'm going through and rereading old favorites.
oh yeah.
That can definitely, like, I can do that sometimes, but it's just one of those things that, like, my brain, and part of this is because I probably need to be more medicated than I am for depression, but like my brain just like does not want to put the effort into understanding, or like just even like I'll think of, oh, I should pick up the book, and then it'll be an hour later and I've just doom scrolled. So I'm trying to cut down on that, but
People say when they're stressed they need to decompress, and I say I need to decompose, because I just get in my bed and I just lay there for
I want to
days.
rot. Like,
I'm rotting from the inside out while living. I am decomposing. Leave me alone.
I
Yeah.
I'm gonna borrow that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, I cannot commit to this thing you want me to be a part of. I will be decomposing that day. Like,
Right now, I'm decomposing.
Oh my god, I love it. Oh man, at some point I will get my shit together enough that I will actually do like if I just kind of let myself do nothing for 30 minutes a day with no pressure to do anything, does that help my mental state? But I just haven't. That seems like a lot of effort right now.
It's a lot of effort to stare off into space for 30 minutes with no pressure.
it is. Okay, it is though.
Like it's a lot to put everything down and then pick it back up 30 minutes later.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like the whole time, like unless you like have timed it perfectly and planned for it perfectly, like the whole time you're thinking about like all the things you're not doing that you're gonna have to do later. So it's sort of just like moving the stress around. Like it's not
You need to figure out how to be unconscious.
It would probably work better if I could get my shit together about like writing down what I need to do every day. But I have fallen off of that wagon, and it is 7 leagues down the road at this point.
I have heard people say that they'll do that at night before they go to bed. Like they'll write down everything they need to do the next day or like for the next week, like the highlights, and then they don't have to lay in bed and think about everything they need to do instead of sleeping.
Yeah, that used to be the last thing I did before I went to bed. Besides, like I would read for 30 minutes when I went to bed. That would be one of the last things, and the mental energy that takes, I don't have it in the evening anymore. And then in the morning, I don't want to.
Yeah. We're old. We can't handle it.
And heaven forbid I do something I used to be able to do this. And now it's like, that feels like walking over hot needles. Mentally. But yeah, we'll see. At some point, I have a lot of stuff that I want to try. But we'll see. Michaela says, I'm going to start with the John Green book and maybe switch in the second sprint because I'm equally excited about both. I feel that in my soul. I was going to try to be reading Tusk Love. I just wasn't able to get to a bookstore that had it today because Barnes & Noble didn't have it when I went on Tuesday.
I got my copy. I'm reading it not next
Don't brag.
I'm reading it in August for a book club.
Nice. The good news is that Critical Role and Dimension 20 are still great coping mechanisms, which is why I'm doing so bad at just taking 30 minutes to not do anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm supposed to stop to do nothing when Fabian Arameus Seacaster is losing his shit?
And that happens often. That happens often.
Tennille says, I don't specifically have shingles, but I have some pretty nasty symptoms, but that's basically just life, so it wouldn't affect my reading any more than usual. Yeah, I feel that. I just finished The Case of the Missing Maid and Bone Cross this month, and those went okay, so it might be the Journey. I mean, if you know you don't like Journey books, it's a potential thing. Like, that is definitely something that rings true in my mind.
Well, I'm the same. Like, I don't like Journey books. I don't like ship books. There are exceptions that can win me over, but in general, it's something where like they get on a boat and I'm like, oh no. Like that just happened in Dragon Fruit. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. So I foolishly did not read much past like, oh, cool, like dragons, Hawaiian fantasy world, very cool. And I'm like, well, there's sea dragons, Kara, so the sea, like they're gonna be on the boat. So
the island involved in that book.
We'll
Context clues.
How that goes. This one's on me.
I feel like I read a lot of boat books growing up because I read a lot of Christian romance growing up.
That's such a funny Venn diagram. Like,
I'm like,
I know.
The way you said it was like it's like the natural like 1-to-1. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I think Paco and I just tilted our heads at the same time. We were like, what?
Listen, when you are reading about, like, you're reading a bunch of historical Christian romance that is set in a place where, in a time period where there are no planes, a lot of that romance happens on a ship.
I was just thinking like the old like romance Fabio covers when you said Christian romance on a boat. Like I was just thinking
that's what
like
my mind
Fabio
is too, honestly, as well. Like old Harlequin like romance covers.
That's exactly where my brain went to. And then I was like, that is definitely not in the Christian romance section.
No, it's not.
They're in like prairie dresses, but
they are, or they're in like Regency ball gowns, or Victorian ball gowns, or World War II, but there are planes there, so there's not as much ship romance. What did Shingles just report? I love that. Hello, Kiana. By the way, currently reading This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. But yeah, no, that's totally valid, Tennille, to have like specific elements that you don't particularly like. I feel like the burden of, or the burden of skill that the author has to get you past the dislike totally makes sense, because you're sitting there, we're on a fucking boat. And I think sometimes it's just like, authors don't know what to do when they're writing about a boat. So
Tennille is terrible. They get on and off the boat a lot.
They do.
Yeah. Dragon Fruit, there are less boat travel parts than one would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think.
I feel like,
and it's a short book too, so it's not like a
they're
long.
not on the boat that long.
Yeah.
like, the boat is just meant to get them places. We don't have to spend a lot of time on there. So, I am surprised even more so that you made it through live ships.
I'm impressed with myself. No, actually, no. The boat was the least bad part. I feel like it's a law of nature that if Margaret and I are on the same live show, we will bitch about the live ship traders. Like, it's just going to happen.
It is required.
It has to.
I'm still scared to finish Assassin's Quest because we keep going to this one storyline, and every time we go, we keep going to Molly's storyline, and every time we go, I think it's Molly, the girl's storyline, and every time we go to her storyline, I go off again. So, anyways, we can say that because I don't think I have any friends on here that truly love live ships.
Actually, listening to you two talk about live ships so often, I tried to start Assassin's Apprentice and I like hated it from the get-go. So you guys convinced me I didn't have to try again. So
honestly, like, that
Assassin's
trilogy, like the second book in that trilogy was like the high point for me personally. The second book was actively good. I enjoyed it, and I like never hit that high again.
I'm still like, I have not made my decision whether or not I'm fully DNFing Robin Hobb. I want to finish Assassin's Quest first, and it's going to depend on how I feel about that. Assassin's Apprentice is a hard one for a lot of people, especially because of like part of the plot involves a lot of animal cruelty. So it's not one I suggest to people if they have big triggers around that, or if that makes them uncomfortable.
What about the 8 pages that she took describing the texture and feel and expense of paper?
Oh God.
I'd rather read that.
I'm new to the Robin Hobb hate train here.
There's plenty of room, Paco, if you'd like a book.
That can go right next to the
years to read the first book. 15 years.
Like, I low-key have declared her my literary nemesis, so which is silly because she's like sitting on her 47 awards. Like, she doesn't need me.
Right.
But I know.
Right?
Good for her, so happy for her, not for me.
Yeah. She actually, reading her books made me want to go and like do more, and I haven't done this yet, but do more research into the waves of feminism, because I feel like I feel like for the time that she was writing, and she was not as far ahead of the times as a lot of people like to say she was.
Yeah.
But I also was at that time not aware of most of what was going on in feminist theory because I was a child. So anyways,
I think her and Mercedes Lackey are very similar in like the kind of epic tales that they told, multiple trilogies from the same world. I just think Mercedes does it better.
Oh, that's nice, because I plan on reading Mercedes Lackey at some point.
Same.
It's more inclusive. There's like books that she published in 86 have like thruples and lesbians and like all kinds of stuff that just did not happen back then, at least not to our knowledge. I don't know, I wasn't alive.
I knew that because that's why my mom stopped reading her books.
Yeah.
So shall we pull up? This has been fun. We're going to chat some more, but shall we get a little bit of reading done today?
That might be good.
Probably.
Okay, I love. She also created an album of music for at least one of her stages. Very nice, very nice. And we will. I forgot to. We got distracted, but when we come back from the next sprint, I will ask people like how, if you're doing the mid-year scramble, how y'all are doing. This is my 20 points for the week, so huzzah! I get to buy my cross stitch. If anyone's watched the TBR video that went up this morning, so let me get.
I did. I'm invested. If you get to buy the Expanse,
I like. It's going to happen. Oh wait, hold on. My timer isn't correct. It's going to happen at some point. It's just if I do this now, I get to do it now. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I have to spend that money on other things that I need to spend that money on. It's fine. We'll see. But okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to put it this way. I will see y'all in an hour. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I am remembering how to work Streamline. Woohoo. How did everyone do? I'll let you guys think for a minute. I will start. I got 54 pages between what I read earlier this afternoon and what I just read. I read 54 pages with chapter 9 of The Hobbit. And I'm feeling like there is more book left according to my audiobook than I have book left.
Is your narrator very slow?
My narrator's Andy Serkis. I'll have to take a look. Like, I'm about 54% on the audiobook, but I feel like I'm way further than 54% here.
Is there maybe like some after scenes credits or whatever?
Potentially.
I know I listened to I forget what audiobook it was, but they had an interview after with the author.
Yeah.
If you look at the chapters on the audiobook, it'll tell you at the end if there's like extra stuff.
Because I mean, the author is dead, so that's probably not.
I know, yeah, probably not that, but maybe a bonus content.
Jess, I'm obsessed with your kitty.
He's very cuddly.
Oh, that's the little leg.
The little hug.
I'm fine. I wish I had a kitty cat.
She's been exceptionally cuddly this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Were they scared yesterday with all the, I'm assuming, fireworks in the area?
Actually, I didn't hear any last night at all. Like, the dogs didn't even hear anything.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how or why, but we managed to escape it.
Whoa.
It was going crazy over here. Like, our 3 dogs were all scared in different ways. They had to be like cuddled. One had to be like held. One had to be like pet.
Yeah.
And then the cat.
Yeah.
And apparently, like in my city, some people I follow in my city, there's like fires starting because of the fireworks. California, let's cause more forest fires.
It is bonkers to me the number of people who live here and are like, fire is good. Like, fire is a fun way to celebrate. Definitely not at all a problem living in an area that is always in a fire or like a drought that is getting ready for a fire. Like,
what area of California are you at?
Like the kind of central part.
Okay, I'm more northern, but like bottom of north.
You had Dookie cats.
I've been caught.
It's been nice knowing you, Jess. We'll see you when you're done.
Yeah.
Enjoy your cat.
Next thing we know, there are gonna be 3 cats in a trench coat sitting there.
Pretty much.
The 2 cats and the dog in a trench coat. Right?
It's gonna be a big trench coat if he fits in it. He is laying on the floor next to me, though.
Oh, it was funny. I was trying to explain to my mom how big Doyle is because there's no way to really understand how big Doyle is until you've actually met him. Like, pictures just don't do it justice. And my mom was like, well, is he bigger than Tiny, which is my uncle's like giant chocolate lab? And I was like, so much bigger than Tiny.
Think of like a small horse, like a large small horse.
If you've ever seen a Great Dane in real life, that's about what it's like to see Doyle, except he has floof.
Yeah. Floofy.
So,
yeah.
How did you do, Paco?
I did good. I got to the chapter 30, so I'm at like 60-something% of Forgery and Fate. I was listening to the audiobook on Spotify, but I ran out of hours, so I had to. Luckily, I had a credit on Audible, so I used that. I'm like, fuck it. I don't want to pay like $12 more to listen to Spotify. So, but I also I worked on my spreadsheet. I am making a spreadsheet so I could track my physically owned books. Logging those in. I'm at like 250, and I've only got 2 shelves done. So
I have separated most of my physically owned books. Well, no, that's not incorrect. That is incorrect. I've separated all of my unread books. I have given up trying to track all of my physically. I don't even know how many I own at this point.
There's some questions you don't ask because you don't want to know. Like,
right.
I actually do want to know if I have enough to be considered a library. But that was with my
That's the reason I'm doing it, because I know I think last count I was at 4 something of physically owned read books. I'm not counting my unread books is a whole different thing. We're not counting.
I feel like your unread books do count if we're talking about a library, because
well, I'm gonna
walk into the library, a large portion of those will always be books you have not read.
True, but the way I order my books, I have my like shelves set up, so they're all in the corner, ashamed.
If I count duplicate copies, I'm around 950. So I'm so close.
More, it just means you need to go buy 50 more books. That's an excuse.
Right, exactly. I did that last
That
month.
is clearly the takeaway is, get 50
It's more books. I love that. How did you do, Julie?
I did okay. I think I'm about a third of the way through this, but I had to do a moth rescue mission for about 10 minutes so that he wasn't flying around while we were talking. But that was a little distracting.
They can be that way.
Yeah. I didn't want to smush him if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's something flying around distracting me, it is likely a mosquito, and I likely have no idea where it is.
And they deserve to be squished. So.
Right. I'll squish them.
They contribute nothing.
My favorite thing is when I'm lying in bed at night with the lights off and I can hear one that's gotten in the house. I'm just like, it's 2 a.m. I don't want to do this.
Put the whole house on fire at that point.
Right.
That's how I feel when I hear a stink bug. I'm like, oh, burn the house down.
Oh my god. On that note, Jess, how did you do?
I read 40-ish pages. Had to take an eye strain break in the middle because I don't do great with reading physically.
Yeah.
I read about 40 pages and took a little break in the middle.
Kitty cats.
With this.
That is the best way to take a break.
Yes.
So, how about you, Kara?
I did pretty well. Like, I know that Paco, might have been you mentioned how short the book is. I did not realize it was this short, but I'm already like a quarter through. So I read like a few chapters, and I'm very excited because we have met a little bat companion who is immediately my favorite. I love him. So I made good progress, and amazingly, my computer was able to handle staying on the live stream and also playing a game while I listened. So we both did great.
That's funny. Yeah. I am currently working on, I'll bring them in the next sprint. I'm working on a little, because I'm reading The Hobbit. I got like the Lord of the Rings Woobles set. So I'm working on a little golem. So that's what I've been doing. But when I switch to Buffalo Hunter, I will probably pull up Baldur's Gate because I have a new D&D character that I need to make in Baldur's Gate.
Ooh. I still need to get Baldur's Gate.
It is it's a good game. It's an amazing game. It comes with the caveat of only purchase it when you know you have a lot of time to be obsessed with it, because there's just like, I lose when I am truly like, when I first got it, I lost so many hours of my life. Like, not that I'm mad about it, but I spent so many hours on that game. Like, I would sit down, I'm like, I'm gonna play it was like with the book, I'm sit down, I'm gonna play for an hour, and then the story draws you in, and then you're like, well, I need to know what happens, and I need to finish this encounter because they keep killing me. So yeah, it's just be ready for that.
Yeah, I feel like Princess is gonna come for me one day if I don't get it, because she's trying to get me to get it and play. It's just I need to have the time and money at the same time.
Yes.
Is it one of the ones on sale right now? Probably not. If it's like,
I don't know. You could purchase it and just not download it until you have the time.
True.
But like, the nice thing about having played it for as many hours as I have played it is that I know it, like I've started multiple games with multiple characters, because that's just kind of my thing. When I have a new Dungeons and Dragons character, I start a new game of Baldur's Gate and I try and build that character as close as I can in the game.
I like
And
that.
so yeah, so I can I started playing Baldur's Gate before I started really like getting to play Dungeons and Dragons as a player. And it really is helpful for figuring out how certain, like, it doesn't work one-to-one with Dungeons and Dragons, but it is really helpful for figuring out how your character's abilities work to some extent, and like brainstorming different things that you can do in different ways that you can, like, it's really good at teaching you how to play Dungeons and Dragons when you're thinking from a strategy level, maybe not mechanically, but from a strategy level. So we had some friends join us. We have Amal, welcome. Just reached 57% of Breaking Dawn for Comic-Con Readathon and might go for a short one for Hunger Games Readathon. Very nice. Hello, Molly, welcome. We also have Danielle here. Hello. Would like to finish the last 15% of Handmaid's Tale tonight. My brain immediately, well, why don't we? I mean, we're living it, so. We also had Neva show up, and Rope, and Sherry. Hello, and Jen. Welcome. All right, let's check in with people, because I saw some questions about how mid-year Scramble works this year, and I did pull up some stuff to show y'all. But let's check in. Okay, Amal is thinking maybe a thriller, been procrastinating behind closed doors by B.A. Paris. We've mixed up our readathons. I understand this. I just hope I submit the right stuff. Who knows? Molly just finished Cat Plus Gamer, which means that Molly has reached their week 1 goal. Very nice. And that's where we get into the questions, which is, oh wait, how do we reach the goal? So Amal, I don't know if you haven't watched the announcement video yet. There's 3 different ways you can play, and one of them is a summer reading challenge. So let me see if I can I swap this out? Okay, no, I have to stop the screen. Stop screen. I'm going to share this with y'all real quick in case anyone has questions. Window. Okay. All right, so this is the mid-year. This is what I'm doing for my summer readings challenge. I have already officially met my week 1 goal, because Bookish Hangout is worth 20 points. There's like 20 different prompts worth 5, 10, and 20 points. And then there we go. Okay, so you set your own point totals. If you watch my TBR, I go through it a little bit, but like I set my goal for 20 points this week, and I've already met that, so I get to go buy this cross stitch over here. But you get to decide your own goal, like point wise, or you can just do like you can do a check off of, that's not the right one. You can do like a check off the list. You can do the bingo board if you still want to. The decision trees are still there. But, is it not showing? It's not showing you guys anything, is it?
It's a big blue screen.
Yeah. Big blue screen. Okay. Let's try closing that. Let's pull up Instagram then. I do go over this in my TBR video, but we can also pull up my Instagram. So hopefully you guys will be able to see this a little bit better. Okay. All right. See if we can try this one. Y'all, next time I'm showing you something that's not there, yell at me.
Well,
it was there until the last one.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, you guys should be seeing the mid-year Scramble graphic.
Sorry, I'm getting a call. Let me go mute.
I was like, shoot, did the focus go off already? In fact, I'm going to pause it because it's about to go off. All right, so you have 5, 10, 20 points here. And then this doesn't show it to the full extent. But, no, it doesn't. Okay. Oh, I removed it. Okay.
Go the other way. There you go.
Yeah, no. So this is the summer reading challenge, which is what Molly is referring to as the summer reading challenge. And then if you go into the Discord, there is a graphic where it says week 1 goal, week 2 goal, week 3 goal, and you choose the points that you want for each week. and for the month in total. And every time you hit one of those, you get to reward yourself with one of the things. So that is what Molly is referring to. Okay. I'm going to remove that so that, because I'll need to stop screen. Okay. Okay, where do we go? Okay, so 20 pages into Murder on Board by Helena Dixon. Speaking of, if anybody is working on the mid-year reading scramble, let us know how you did in the comments. Do I have anybody here who has been working towards it, is doing the summer reading challenge or doing any of the prompts that wants to chime in with how they're doing? You all get 20 points for showing up.
I know. Yeah.
I printed that one out and then decided it took too much brain thought process to make goals and what I wanted for reaching the goal. So then I threw that paper away and then I printed out the bingo board instead and put that in my journal.
I'm doing the tree.
The tree.
And this is newest book because it's a 2025 release and I'm deciding it's newest book. I'm deciding that.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Listen, you get to, I think Neva asked me if she could read her newest book that was not part of that wasn't a sequel. And I was like, yeah, that works. Like whatever. Like I'm not going to make you read.
There's no period at the end of the prompt, so you can make it newest book, whatever.
Yeah, like
you're not going into people's bank accounts like, what was the last book they bought?
Like, yeah, I'm not
an audit. That's not an audit.
So, yeah. Have you gotten anything checked off on the bingo yet, Jess, or are you still trolling along like I am? Because I have not either.
I mean, I have finished a book, but I haven't decided what I want to mark off yet because it's too early in the month. You know what I mean? Because like you can go for multiple squares. So I want to see what I want to
Yeah.
That makes sense. Very nice. Yeah, my goal this month is I want to finish all of the self-care prompts at one point, and then I also, right now, we're working on currently reading. Kiana got to page 58. 11% into the Frozen River for Molly.
Nice.
Picked up pizza for dinner, so got my picked up pizza for dinner, so I got to read a few pages of Everything is Tuberculosis. This is such a mood. I decided I need to have a second book on the go so I can switch back and forth between that and Tress. Nice. Sometimes that's how you do it.
I am a multi-reader as well.
Yeah.
I usually shuffle between at least 2 books.
I usually have at least a book per format, right? Not always necessarily ebook, but I almost always have an audiobook and a physical book going, you know? So just that's the way it is. Sometimes you need something to listen to while you're doing things with your hands. Sometimes you want to use your eyeballs to read. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's not an audiobook available. Anyways. With the mention of Mercedes Lackey, I went with the Herald Spy subseries. These 11 books are commonly suspected to be very heavily contributed to by her husband and sometimes collaborator. Wait, Larry Dixon? Hold up. Is that, no, I might be thinking of a different Dixon. I feel like there is a author. Yeah, Larry Dixon author. Okay. Interesting. I did not know that they were married.
The more you know.
Rope is overwhelmed by how many stars we have. Guest stars we have. You are very welcome. I got lucky. I got a bunch of people who like me this week. We've got jealous of the cat. We're all jealous of the kitty cat. The kitty cat cuddle attack. Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane, yes.
And he is person-sized, so accurate.
Yeah, you could mount a small child and use Doyle as a pony. You shouldn't because he doesn't, like, dogs don't have the back strength for that. Like, their backs aren't built that way, but you could. Like, if the size would work, just not the muscles. Ended up working on setting multi-tracker and Notion for my different projects. Okay. Ooh. At 90%, but there may be some bonus content at the end, so maybe not a full 10% left to go. Hi, Jean. Welcome. Hello. Hey, Lynn. Off work running errands. Hello to Paco. Ended up filing papers when I entered the last sprint. Got that. Love it. I'm not using Pizza Hut as my reading rewards when there are so many better local pizza places. You know what? I feel like treating yourself to pizza is a valid way to do this reading challenge.
I know.
So,
Calling back to the roots for a lot of us for our first reading challenge.
Yeah.
Did
I think that was my first question to Margaret. Do I get pizza?
Yeah. Did any of you guys have to do the one where you'd have to like do you'd read a book and then take it online and do the test?
Yes.
Or, like, log it, and they'd like these questions, and that's if you get any points.
Oh, nice.
We didn't have online when I was in grade school.
Nope. We didn't do reading challenges when I was growing up, except maybe I think there might have been one through our library that we kind of thought about. I already read so much, my mother just was like, I never bothered trying to give you a reading list or any of that. You were devouring books. What was I gonna ask you to read more?
Yeah.
You were reading books faster than we could keep up with at the library. So I'm supposed to be writing a paper, but if my favorite soccer team wins, they could be first in the league tonight. So I'm sucked in watching. I fully understand that. Totally.
Hey, there's like breaks, you know.
Maybe it's good I'm taking a ride. That's a proofreading. I mean, any series really
Duology counts. A duology would also count.
A series is a series.
Yeah.
When I finally get around to creating my stupid series game, or not game, I'm gonna do a series basically where I'm like, all right, guys, yell at me to finish books in series. We're starting with duologies because there are a bunch of duologies that is embarrassing that I have not finished.
I have a bunch that are like Fairy Loot sequels, and like I have like 4, and they're all available. The sequels came out and they're available to order, but I'm controlling myself that I have to read the book before I buy the sequel from Fairy Loot.
Yeah.
Have I picked up a single one yet? No.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. See, that would be my one exception. I don't typically like get a whole series at a time, but if I was wanting matching editions, I would. So you never know. You should read some of those books though, Paco. Hey, Nell! Speaking of people who are going to be hanging out with us at some point, Nell is hanging out with us on the 19th, I believe it is. It's written down somewhere, Nell. We'll get it right. I just, off the top of my head, do I remember? No. For the month, I mean, I've met my goal for the week because I read 2 things, Fantastic Four and Jurassic Park. Very nice. Online was a very...
And both have movies coming out this month.
Nell has corroborated that I am correct. Online became a thing when I was like in early high school, I believe. So
it existed when I was in grade school, but I live very rural in Ohio, in a very poor part of the country. So it didn't really exist where we are yet. I think I was like 13 maybe when we got a computer at home for the first time.
I would have been 12 or 13. I know we got a computer because my dad, back when like Black Friday sales actually were good, my dad waited outside at like 4, like he literally, like he worked a night shift and would get off at 4 a.m. and he literally, I believe, went from work to, no wait, it was Thanksgiving. No, he literally went at like 4 a.m. I think we might have waited with him because it was fun when we were that young.
Yeah. Hey, when you're little, being up at 4 a.m. feels like a treat.
Yeah.
And we got that computer, and I know that I started reading around the time that Fellowship of the Ring came out because I was reading, like I was on the forums doing like all of my interaction with the Lord of the Rings fandom with my friends was online a lot of the time, even though we would also talk in person. So like I read Lord of the Pants when it first came out. And that is an ancient text that I don't know is even online anymore. So it's probably on AO3 somewhere. Hello, Erie. Finally got a day off, so I sucked it up and finished 2 books. Good for you. And now I'm about 52 pages into my next one.
Amazing.
Round of applause. Online became a thing when I went back to college at age 22. I think that's when I really started using it for schoolwork, with the exception of like computer classes, right? Like there were computer classes that I would take.
Yeah.
But for schoolwork, primarily if I was if I was using anything, I was using my mom's old. She had like an old typewriter that like had like the green screen. So like, in fact, I actually do. I still have. Is it over here somewhere? Oh, yep. Some of my first stories were written on that typewriter in like the proper typewriter font. No double anything, nothing. It's I wrote a lot of Beanie Baby fan fiction, I guess.
I'm not sure why my parents bought a computer because I don't think I ever saw either of them on it. Now, to be fair, my siblings are 7 and 8 years older than me. So, like, I was 12 or 13. They were 18, 19. So, maybe they needed it for some reason that I don't know about.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I'm old.
Paco, when you had to do the like quizzes on what you read, did you guys have like prizes? Like you would get a certain number of points, and then when you got like more of them, you could do like fun things. Because we had that. I was very highly motivated by that.
Yeah, I think what it was your class. I think it was going all to one thing. So everybody that read, and then I was
ours
like,
encouraged individual competition, which it was great.
I just remember, all I remember is reading the Twilight books and logging those. Is like just my core memory of it. I don't think we ever won anything, but I do remember just logging those and being one of the only ones who actually read in the class.
Yeah,
nice.
Carmen
San Diego, Oregon Trail, Math Blaster. I feel like I might have played Math Blaster. So I know I played a heck ton of Oregon Trail.
Oh, yeah.
Time to learn.
Yeah, when I was that was like that was like the treat when I was hospitalized. The 2 times I was hospitalized, like they would bring in a computer for some of the kids, like for me, and like let me play Oregon Trail. Rope, you might remember, did you ever do Reading Rabbit? My grandmother was a school teacher, so I played Reading Rabbit at her house quite often. When I would up until I was like 6, and then I believe we had it on a computer that we had when I was like 7 or 8. Really old computer. I remember that my mind was blown when my high school drama had Alpha Smarts for typing scripts. I thought those were the coolest things before Chromebooks took over classrooms when I was teaching. Yeah, very nice.
And now Alpha Smarts are so vintage, and authors are like paying ridiculous amounts of money for them online.
Someone remembers Reading Rabbit. I didn't hallucinate it. That's so funny. I totally remember using a typewriter. That's what I learned to type on. The first time I learned to type was on my mom's typewriter because she got Mavis Beacon. And then in college, I had to take a typing class. This sounds familiar. Did you be so scared of the drunk thing? No, so it's still money from you. Not gonna lie, for the longest time, I lived for that Frogger 3D game or whatever it was called. Oh my god, I played the American Girl like play game. I still have that somewhere.
I remember for us the video, like it was like the games that were like on the Disney Channel network, like website. Those games.
Oh yeah.
And then we had
played a lot of those.
I don't know if they were Club Penguin were like also major ones we would play.
Yeah, that Neopets.
Mm-hmm.
The internet used to be fun.
When we first got a computer, the internet, we didn't have the internet. It was just things that were like locally installed on the computer.
Like the like pinwheel space game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Pinball.
Yes.
I think one of my mom's computers had this like it was like a bakery game. Like you would like make little cakes or whatever. It's one of the few games on it.
We had the like jump something like that. Like, and they would have like 3rd grade or they would have like 5th grade or whatever. Like some of them I remember we played a lot. Like I think 4th grade was one where they had like robots. I don't know. I'm like unlocking all these childhood memories.
Right?
was like, what? And the third one, I'm pretty sure that the like main character was a dachshund,
That's
but he
funny.
could talk. I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Oh, my next door neighbor had Putt Putt the purple car. Very nice. Mario is the one that taught me typing. I did not know that. That's lovely. Okay, I think we have time to do one more hour-long sprint. So let's do that. And then we shall wait if I can figure out. There we go. We shall.
I might need to hop off now.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
but this was lovely. Thank you for actually making me read something, Margaret. Like,
You're welcome.
it's been great.
You're very
Thank you guys.
Bye.
I'll see you later. Okay.
Yeah. Is leave studio. There we go. All right, we'll do an hour and then we'll wrap things up. And I will get everybody linked down below. So if you want to check out anybody's channel, you can. But let us go. And where did it go? There it is. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Welcome back, everyone. How did we do, everybody? I didn't do any of this reading, but I did finish ears and get them on and do a mouth
Aww.
for this little guy, this little fucker. Don't awe him, it's gone.
I got to like the 70% mark of A Forgery of Fate, so I don't finish today. I'll finish in tomorrow with Princess. But I ate. I didn't read. I only read for like 20 minutes because I was hungry as hell while at that last talking part. So I like went down and ate something.
Well, yeah, it's like dinner time for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. How did the rest of us do, Julie?
I finished Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 2. So I did that, and I made my to-do list for tomorrow. So I just did a little planning.
Nice. Good job. As we have discussed, I am not good at that anymore.
Yeah.
It helps when I sit down and do it. Like, I know it helps. It's just I have to sit down and do it.
Yes, I have to remember to do it. I sometimes I'm good at it, and sometimes I forget.
I do it like on a weekly basis, or I'll do it like on Sundays. I try to like edit my weekly planner. Do I stick to it right now? No, but it's just we're getting their habit.
Yep, I totally understand that. How about you, Jess?
I did not do any reading because I no longer have eyeballs for it.
Oh no.
I took the dogs outside because there are fireworks now. They wanted to go out to pee, and I was like, it is that time of night where if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I went with them, and then 40 seconds after I walked out the door, it started. And now I have Velcro friends on the floor next to me. And I worked on updating my reading journal because I am behind as per usual.
If you're not behind, do you even have a reading journal?
The fact that I haven't.
Does anyone even have a reading journal if they are not behind? I think that's just like a required. Sorry, what were you saying, Paco?
Yeah. Huh? I keep up I have a reading journal I never update. I think I like months ago. But I do have a reading spreadsheet that I got from someone, like a reading tracker spreadsheet that I update.
Nice. I have Allie's reading tracker spreadsheet.
I think that's what I have to do.
I just am like I've made peace with the fact that like I throw money at her because I like the idea of having a reading tracker, and eventually I figure if I throw enough money enough times, eventually I'll use it. One of these years.
Yeah.
I don't even know what one I have this year. I always end up changing them so much myself, like to be like exactly what I want it to be. And I think this year, was it last year or this year, I tried a new one, and it was last year. I tried a new one and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it kept stats. And so this year I tried something completely different. And I honestly have no idea. I wonder if there's a hidden page that tells me who it belongs to.
I don't know. Don't ask me this information.
I don't know who created it. I just know that I have one.
I also have Allie's, but I just used mine over from last year because I bought the 5-year one. So I was
going to use like one I had from last year, just like reuse it, but then I saw the new colors for this year.
Yeah.
And this one had pink, and I was like, okay, well, I got to do the pink one.
Yeah.
So.
There's definitely one year that I bought it because that's part of why I only get the 1 year. It's like I know I'm gonna, if she does purple or what different colors, I might want a different color. Which she didn't have purple when she started, and she added it. So, Alex went to sleep. So have a good night if you're hopping back to see the very last bit of it. Daniel says that fireworks are going off there too. Last night they were going until 12. Oh my god, we had like 30 minutes last night. My parents were like, did they even go off? And I was like, yeah, I heard them. They're like, well, it's like
they went off from like 9 to 11 last night. going
They
crazy.
started. Sorry. They started like right after dinner last night. It was like not even dark. It was like 7:00. I was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, there would be
I mean,
occasional
you got
ones
kids,
throughout
yeah.
the day, but it started going hard once the sun went down. And then I was like, oh, let's go downstairs and be with the dogs. And all three of them were just, and the cat, all just, poor babies.
Our city had theirs last night, but I didn't hear a single one. And tonight they started an hour ago, and they're still going.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's
I don't know who, because it's not the city. It's coming from the wrong direction.
That's one of those things. Like, if you could get the animal young enough and condition, but it's so hard. Like, it requires like coordination with people to condition your animal to that. And I don't know if you could do it with cats. I know you can do it with dogs because service dogs are conditioned. But it was one of those things that, like, by the time I knew that that was a thing that could happen, my dog had been dead for 5 years. We were well past the point where I could have done anything about it.
No, Raina, my dog, she doesn't really like bark or go crazy, but like she'll be next to me, and she's not like a super affectionate dog unless she's like a cat. She'll want attention when she wants it.
Yeah.
But she was really like just like digging in deep to like, no, I want to be right next to you right now. Like,
Yeah.
Susie would like want to be with you, but also want to be underneath something.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing. Like, this chair that I'm sitting in, that was her most consistent go-to spot, where she'd just like go under the chair. She'd be there for 5 minutes, be like, this isn't helping, back out, go look for somewhere else, come back, go under the chair again. It was very funny. I feel bad for her, but it was funny to watch. I think we can. Okay. Read another chapter of Closer to the Chest. And I'm up to chapter 11 in press, but there are 60 some chapters. I mean, it's Brandon Sanderson. There would be. It's more of everything is tuberculosis. I'm enjoying it. Love it. I was burnt out from work, so I read 2 Spanish poems and spent the rest of the time playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. What am I reading? Rope. You said Hyrule. I'm reading a book called, or I'm going to be reading a book called Rise of the Vicious Princess. And it's giving me like Zelda/Sheik vibes, where like she's a princess by day trying to run the country and deal with like crap going wrong. And then by night, she's dressed up as a smuggler and she's like doing piracy things. And I'm like, this feels like something from Legend of Zelda. Haven't started reading it. Well, you know what? The night is potentially young, depending on where you are, Sherry. Let's see.
I know now. I know why that sounds familiar. I was like,
Why? What sounds familiar?
oh, the
Hyrule?
book. No, the city, the one you mentioned. I was like, one of my friends had been reading it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay.
It's an arc that I requested at the beginning of 2020 with the intention I was going to get really good about reading all of my arcs. And I requested it in like February of 2020. And then COVID happened.
I have my percentage rating on NetGalley is 78%. I currently have 46 unread books on my shelf, and they just keep giving them to me. And I feel like that's irresponsible on their part.
It is. Mine's at 34.
I only ever got NetGalley because I had an arc. An author gave me her like e-arc, and I had to read it through NetGalley. So I only read for that. So I've only read one arc off of it that I've gotten. So
yeah.
A lot of mine are like influencer programs or just publicists that I've gotten in with over the years from like reading a book and like really being like all about it. And then they just for some reason add me to their list. And so they just email me and are like, download the book on NetGalley. And I'm like, okay, sure. And now there's 46 of them. And only like 10 of them are past due. So I'm not doing horrible, but I'm also not doing great.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm at 37%. I've sent feedback on 11 of the books that I had, and I was approved for 30. So I just need to read 19 more, and we're good.
Yeah.
And we are going to read them. Oh, never mind. This was not in 2020. I was wrong. This is in 2022. That makes sense. That
That's
makes
less.
sense. I requested these around the time my brain broke.
Hi, baby.
Yep. So
Yeah.
some of these, it's like I want to get to them. They don't sound like what I want to read just yet. But we'll get to them at some point. All right. So that is going to be it for us tonight. Real quick before we go, to everyone is linked down. Oh wait, hold on. We still have people to talk to. I'm not done. My reading journal is more up to date than it was. I worked on it today. I saw NetGalley and I was like, I got to get started on these. But I need to do some readathon updates at some point. The monthly stuff is done. They're very nice. No reading. We were editing things. Very nice. Very nice. Completely right off. There need to be time limits for fireworks. I started. What? Yeah. I mean, technically, if it's your neighbors doing it, they need to follow the noise ordinances.
I live
So
in the
hence why I said technically. We're supposed to have permits for fireworks that are dependent on how dry conditions are. There are minimal fireworks for Canada Day, but like 5 minutes and only by the municipal. So at least in Florida, technically, fireworks are illegal. You cannot buy them for recreational purposes, but you can buy them for agricultural purposes to scare off birds and predators and things like that. Now, are they packaged like they're going to be used agriculturally? No. Our neighbor growing up used to shoot off a rifle at midnight. Wait. Oh my God. More fireworks.
Growing up in my neighborhood, you do while you're in the house, you hear you're like, is that a firework or gunshot?
Mm-hmm.
You learn the difference.
Yeah. It was bad in my area. It started when the sun went past 1 a.m. I had to take a nap today. The sirens, car alarms, and fire. Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. Like we're mostly like most of the kids in our neighborhood do not live, like they've all grown up. So for the most part, it's a bunch of old people. So we don't have to deal with like people doing them, but we do live very close to downtown. So that means that we get like a 30-minute show if we want to watch it. I didn't care. I'm not at the point where they like giving me books in NetGalley. You'll get there. That's what Read Now is for. All right, now, do y'all have anything that you want to plug for your channels? Anything that's come out recently? Anything that is coming up that people should look out for?
I have my video. I just dropped yesterday. Was my wrap up for June, and then also earlier last week, a week ago, I had my interview with Sandra Proudman, the author of Salvation, is out. So that's fun. If you haven't checked that out. I'm doing sprints on Princess's channel. Princess Does tomorrow. I think so, unless I forget. But so yeah, that's all.
Nice. What about you, Julie? Anything?
I should have a video. I do have a video coming out on Monday, and it is. I am trying to remember. I think it's the mid-year calm down tag. I have a few scheduled because I'm going on vacation next week, so
yeah,
I have to work ahead. But I think it's the mid-year calm down tag.
I looked at the mid-year calm down tag, and I was like, I am too high energy for this.
I need to film my freak out tag.
Yeah, I haven't filmed it. I'm filming that tomorrow.
I might film that after we're done here, depending on my mood.
Yeah, nice. So you still have the rest of your day, or the rest of your evening. I'm probably going to.
Same.
Yes, I will give you a moment to plug anything. I don't know that you've made a comeback yet on your channel, but you're welcome to plug anything you wanna.
I am doing nothing for 2 months.
Good for you.
I mean, not that I think I quit in like February, so it's been 4 months, but I'm continuing to do nothing for another 2 months, at least.
Is this one of those months, or is it like August and September?
I will probably start at the I'm going to do the Summer Scare Readathon the last week of summer. because I've had a lot of people who have requested to bring it back, even though I'm on hiatus. And I'm not on hiatus because I'm busy or stressed. I just don't feel like doing it, honestly.
Yeah, I understand.
Like there's no reason other than just I don't want to. Which is a reason, I guess. But I do want to do the readathon, so I'll probably do like an announcement video at the end of August, and that's probably when content will begin again, if I remember how to do it. Well, I mean, I know I spent 8 years doing content, and then I was just like, I don't really feel like it anymore.
Yeah, Justice said to me, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah,
I really had to get into a position where I felt like I wasn't doing things. I felt like I could only do something if I could film it, because everything I did had to be for content. And so I really needed to like step back and take a long break where I could like start doing things and not record myself doing them, so I could like get back to a normal life, because my life is not content. I'm not an influencer or a content creator. I'm just a person who talks about books on the internet, and I need to calm down.
Yep.
So
I have plans for I have plans to like let people in on little bits. I'm very careful about what I pick and choose about what you're able to see. Like, you know what? I film a lot more of my life than actually ends up making it on. Because if I'm like, I might like this later, and then I just delete the footage if I don't want it. So, 2 different ways. That is the smart thing to be like, not everything, and not everything needs to be content, right? That's part of why I took up needlework and took up crochet, because like it's good to have a hobby that is not your thing online. Like I talk about it occasionally, but it's not like, oh, I have to film this every single time I pick up a blanket or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, all right. So I just released my TBR for July, if you guys want to watch that. And then I do have the announcement for the mid-year scramble linked down below if you guys want to check that out. I would love to see it get to 1,000 views by the end of the month, so I'm still plugging it. So good luck with your papers, Pirate. And I will be here next week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with Aoife from Pretty Purple Polka Dots and Neva from Reading with Neva. So the full sprint schedule is on my channel and also in the Discord if you guys are interested in. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things.